Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, so we will continue our chapter 4. Okay, so for this slide, we have three subtopic. Okay, the first one is exponential moving averages, which is EMA, or we call it as EMA. And then after that, we will cover into envelopes and also Bollinger bands. Okay, check it out. Okay, so the EMA differs from SMA in terms of the calculation method and also the way that prices are weighted. Okay, so as I mentioned before, and you have identify the differences between SMA and also double SMA. Okay, if you choose SMA, and then you may see that the MA line is appear right. So but you may have some difficulties when you want to identify the buy and sell signal, okay, because of the lag. All right, and then later you add another MA line, that what we call double SMA, and then you may see a clearer um, signal, okay, clearer signal where it reduce the lag. Double SMA may reduce the lag, but with using EMA, it may reduce more lag. Okay, why? Because the applying the more weight to recent prices. Okay, so with the EMA, okay, the weighting is such that the recent days prices are given more weight than the older prices. Okay, so the theory behind this is that more recent prices are considered to be more important than the older prices. Okay, particularly as a long-term simple average, for example, a 200 days, okay, places equal weight on price data that is over 6 months old and could be thought of as slightly out of date. Okay, so there are steps to calculating an exponential moving average. First, okay, you have to calculate the simple moving average, and then calculate the weighting multiplier, and then calculate the exponential moving average. Okay, so this is the way you want to calculate the EMA. Okay, so for example, this is for 10 days EMA. So the first step is you have to calculate the SMA first. Okay, for example, 10 days, so 10 periods of closing price divided by 10. And the second step is multiplier. You have to calculate the multiplier. Multiplier here is 2 divided by time periods, which is this one, okay, plus 10 plus 1. Okay, all right, so 2 here, okay, 2 and 1 is constant. Okay, so this one you will get 18.18%. Okay, the third step is you calculate the EMA. Okay, so you take the multiplier here, 18.80% times closing price minus EMA for previous day plus EMA for previous day. Okay, so you don't have to worry because you will not calculate it manually. Okay, you need to click here and there, and then the line will appear in the chart. But this is just for your information on how to get the simple moving average, exponential moving average. Okay, so you have to know lah. All right, so again we have crossover rule. Okay, so here A closing price moving above, okay, above the moving average is interpreted as a buy signal ataupun bullish signal. Okay, whereas a closing price moving below the moving average is the sell signal. So I conclude it here. Okay, price more than means that it is crossover above lah. Okay, so crossover above the EMA. Okay, we call it as buy, and then vice versa for selling. Okay. Okay, so this is example, and as an example of exponential. Okay, so we can see that you boleh tahu, you buat perbezaan antara dua graf. Contohnya untuk graf you nanti, you buat SMA, and then dengan ada double SMA, and then you buat satu lagi graf dengan adanya EMA. So EMA pun sama, dia seeloknya ada dua juga. Okay, so kat sini diberi contoh EMA untuk 20 days and 50 days. Okay. Jadi you boleh tengok dia punya lag indicators to reduce the lag indicators in order to identify the buying signal or the selling signal. So again, the crossover rule is same with double SMA, where the shorter line, okay, this one 20 days ni, dia melebihi dia ataupun di crossover above the longer line. Jadi kat sini adalah buying signal. This is the golden cross lah kat sini. Dan juga kat sini lah selling signal, death cross. Okay. Okay, untuk macam mana kalau you nak gunakan ataupun you nak buat dalam chart Nexus, masih lagi sama. Okay, you pergi dekat sini indicators, and then you choose moving average kat sini kan. Kemudian you boleh klik lagi another moving average. Okay, lepas itu you tukarkan saja kat sini. Macam yang sebelum ni kita untick exponential, right? So kalau untuk yang EMA kita tick balik. Kemudian period kita tukar lah. Kalau you nak 14 days, it's up to you. So you decide. Basically macam saya bagi tahu kan, berapa untuk first line, dan second line untuk shorter line berapa, untuk longer line berapa. Okay, so you boleh pilih lah color setting kat sini. Okay. Alright, so bila dia dah keluar, this one baru satu lah, EMA 14. Jadi kat sini rules dia masih sama. Okay, so kat sini adalah buying signal because the price move above the EMA. Okay, and then this one is kalau kita tengok dia jatuh kan kat sini kan, sebab dia jatuh, tapi dia kejap dia naik balik. Okay, so basically kalau you is not planning to hold ataupun to wait for long term period, so you may sell the stock here. But if you want to see the movement, if you see that the price will or may go up, okay, so you may hold the stock. So that's why kat sini saya tulis sebagai temporary correction of sell signal. Okay, jadi kalau you dah jual kat sini, you seeloknya janganlah pula beli pula kat sini, walaupun this is the buy signal, because rugilah. Jadi kalau you plan to hold for a longer time period, so maybe you tak payah jual lah kat sini. Okay. Alright, so kat sini kita letak, yang ni kita buat double EMA. Kat sini kita ada 14 dan kita ada 50. Jadi kalau kita tengok kat sini, ini adalah downtrend kan. This one is sideways, this one is uptrend. So masih lagi sama, dia punya signal kat sini. Masih lagi you kena gunakan konsep yang tu lah. Shorter line above the longer line, it is a buying signal. Alright, so tadi kita tengok kat sini kita ada nampak tak kat sini? Kita ada selling signal dengan buying signal, right? Tapi bila menggunakan double EMA ni, kita nampak tak dia tak cecah. Jadi bukan signal yang terbaik lah. That's why tadi saya beritahu kalau dengan menggunakan double ni, you may get clear signal. Jadi it's better for you to not to sell the stock. Okay, so that's why saya tulis kat sini safe to hold because the price is more than EMA. Alright, itu sajalah untuk double EMA. Okay, so kita dah habis untuk berkenaan dengan exponential moving average. So now we go to envelopes and also Bollinger Bands. Okay, so apa beza antara dua ni? The envelope consists of two lines. Okay, line pertama adalah above and the one below the moving average. Okay, while Bollinger Band consists of two dynamic bands that are normally centered by a 20-period moving average. The bands are sensitive to changes in volatility. Okay, the space between the two bands is the bandwidth. Okay, kita tengok apa benda beza antara dua ni. Okay, envelopes, it has been established that moving averages can act as important juncture points. Okay, the support and resistance principle can be taken one step further. Okay, tengok Okay, so this is an example of envelope. Line tengah-tengah ni, ini prices yang biru ni, prices. Yang line tengah-tengah ni kita ada orange dengan merah ni. So yang tengah-tengah ni warna apa? Warna hijau lah kan? Mean ya. So line tengah-tengah ni adalah moving average. Okay. So line yang atas dan juga di bawah ni adalah envelope. Yang mana envelope ni dia kita akan tengok sekejap lagi. Bollinger Band pun dia ada juga upper line dengan juga lower line. Cumanya envelope ni dia sama. Dia punya percentage dia sama. Kalau yang antara MA dengan upper line ni dia bergerak secara 5%, so yang bawah pun sama. Biasanya kita akan guna 5% or 10%. Jadi kat sini adding lines 5% above and below the moving average forms moving average envelopes. Jadi kita tahu kan secara realitinya envelope tu kan satu petak yang sama kan. Dia mesti sama, dia tak ada sengit ke atas ke bawah lah. Jadi that's why namakan sebagai envelope. Alright, so ni contohlah. Ni guna 10%. Jadi this is the price. Okay, this one tengah-tengah ni adalah moving average. Atas ni adalah dia punya line, envelope. Okay, upper line and lower line. Okay, inilah. Ibu tengok sama ni 20%, boleh juga. Envelopes are best calculated using proportionate as opposed to point or dollar amounts. Okay. Ni contoh lagi. Okay, ni pun contoh lagi. You boleh bacalah kat sini. Okay. Ni pergerakan dia dan sebagainya. Ni semua ada dalam buku teks. Saya keluar extract saja benda ni untuk you tengok. Okay, now we go to Bollinger Band. Bollinger Band was developed by John Bollinger. This is kita katakan sebagai tokoh lah, tokoh yang sangat hebat dalam technical analysis. Okay, Bollinger Bands operate in a similar way, except that the envelopes or bands are calculated using standard deviation. Jadi dengan adanya Bollinger Band ni, dia masukkan elemen standard deviation untuk menjadikan sesuatu band tu lagi tepat dan kita katakan sebagai clear lah untuk identify the signal. Okay, so volatility is based on the standard deviation, which changes as volatility increases and decreases. Okay, the first requirement in plotting a Bollinger Band is a time span. As with a moving average, usually it will use 20 days moving average. Okay, the bands automatically widen when volatility increases and contract when volatility decreases. Okay, the longer the span, the smoother but less sensitivity are the fluctuations. Okay, Bollinger Bands is best used to identify M top and W bottom or to determine the strength of the trend. Okay. Alright. Okay, ni contohnya. Nampak tak beza tadi di antara envelope dengan Bollinger Band? Kalau envelope dia sama kan, atas dan bawah. Kalau band, dia lain. Kita nampak kat sini. Line yang merah hijau ni adalah price lah. Okay. Yang tengah-tengah ni, solid line ni adalah moving average. Jadi untuk yang line dot ni, kita ada dua. Upper band dan lower band. Okay. So line yang MA ni kita panggil sebagai middle band. Okay. Alright, so using Bollinger Band, the easy way to use BB, kita panggil sebagai BB lah, is to use the upper and lower band as a price target. If price bounce off the lower bound and cross above the 20-day moving average, the upper band becomes the upper price target. A closing below the 20-day moving average will identify the lower band as the downside target. Okay, kita tengok ini adalah contoh dia. Nanti you boleh baca lah. Time span dia dan sebagainya. Okay, yang saya nak tunjuk adalah rules of interpretation. Kita ada 3 rules. Okay, first one is when the band narrows, there is a tendency for sharp price changes to follow. Okay. This is another way of saying that when prices trade in a narrow range and lose volatility, demand and supply are in a fine state of balance. Okay, contoh okay ni. Bands narrow ni. Okay, maksud dia kat sini, kalau you tengok Bollinger Band ni, mula-mula dia ni kan, dia membesar kan. Lepas tu dia starting untuk narrow. Okay, the wider BB means that the price change is higher. Okay, price change dekat sini higher. And then dia start narrow. Okay, kemudian dia besar lagi narrow. Jadi kat sini narrow band ni menunjukkan signal. Okay. Rules number 2, if the price exceeds a band, the trend is expected to continue. Okay, apa maksud dia? Okay. Kat sini, the price immediately move outside the band. So, the recrossover of the Bollinger Band usually indicates short-term exhaustion and quickly pulls it back again. Okay. And rules number 3, when the price traces out a reversal formation after it has crossed outside a band, expect a trend reversal. Okay, apa tu? Kat sini, maksud dia kat sini. Okay, kalau you tengok kat sini kan, kini kat sini dia wider. Wider band. Kemudian, ini dia membentuk M top tadi. Okay, so M top ni dia berjadi sebagai, F ni adalah resistance line. So, dia membentuk. Jadi kat sini kan, dia wider. Lepas tu dia start nak bentuk M kat sini. Lepas tu kita boleh letakkan support resistance line kat sini. So bila dia breach the resistance line kat sini, kita boleh katakan dia adalah satu selling signal. Okay. So kat sini pula yang ni dia tak ada signal kat sini. Okay. Tapi confirmation dia dekat E. So the first two show no sign of exhaustion. However, after the final attempt, the uptrend line is violated. Then price falls below the previous minor low. And then the price touches the outer band again, just prior to the trading range at B, but no signal. And finally, a nice uptrend line is violated and a sell signal is triggered at point E. Okay. Okay, so ni contoh dia. Kalau kita tengok nampak tak? Dia bergerak lepas tu kan, nampak tak? Perubahan dia tu sangat tinggi, expansion kat sini kan. Kan, lepas tu kita boleh tengok nampak tak dia mengecil kat sini. So bila dia violate kat sini, okay, ini kita katakan dia sebagai selling signal lah. Okay, sebab dia nampak tak dah makin dia nak kepada downtrend. Okay, bila you tengok price ni dia bergerak seiring sejalan ni macam ni. Ni dipanggil sebagai walking the band. Okay. Alright, so baca kat sini. When it expands and later start to contract. Okay, ni expand. Lepas tu expand, lepas tu dia start contract. Contraction. Kan? So, there is a signal. Ada signal kat situ. Look at the price line. Okay. Either it moves above or below the MA line. Okay, jadi bila dia contract kat sini, you tengoklah harga dia kat mana, bawah ke, atas ke. So, you boleh decide. You pergi balik dengan crossover rule tadilah. Which one buy sell signal? MA above apa ni? Price above ke price below ke? Okay. So kat sini kan. Okay. Lepas tu kat sini nampak tak? Dia contract lagi ni. Dia expand lagi dekat sini. Kan? Lepas tu dia contract. So kita nampak kat sini. Okay. Dia punya signal. Okay, so itu lagi mudah lah sebenarnya kalau you nak tengok in terms of Bollinger Band. Sebenarnya lagi dia punya kronologi dia adalah kita tengok mula-mula kita tengok dekat simple moving average, and then later kita nak confirmkan kita guna double SMA, and later kita add on lagi guna EMA. Okay. Kemudian you boleh menggunakan juga indikator yang lain which is envelope and Bollinger Band. So antara envelope dengan Bollinger Band you boleh nampak lagi jelas lah dia punya volatility, dia punya before that dia ada expansion, and then later dia ada contraction, and then you may decide lah which one is the signal. Okay, so untuk melukis Bollinger Band ni masih lagi sama lah dengan sebelum ni, which is you just cari kat sini indicator dan you akan jumpa Bollinger Band kat sini. You just click here. So, ia akan keluar kat sini. Tak perlu klik banyak kali lah sebab memang kita pakai satu je. Kita tak, dia bukan macam SMA tu kan. Alright, so kat sini maksudnya apa? 20 kat sini 20 days. SD ni adalah standard deviation. Kita pakai 2. Okay, so kat sini kita tengok dia akan keluar lah lain-lain macam ni. So this one is downtrend, this one is uptrend, and this one is sideways. So kat sini you boleh identify the signal. Jadi kat sini saya tengok kat sini buying signal. Sebab contraction kat sini appear. Okay. Jadi kita boleh tengok buying signal kat sini. Okay. Alright. So ini adalah another example jugalah untuk contoh-contoh you nak identify. Okay, so that's all for chapter 4. So I hope that you may recall back again, the price pattern and so on. And later it may help you to complete your assignment. Okay, so thank you.